Welcome to the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast today with Nick and Amy. Amy's going to start us out with a great audio.
Right
All
now?
right. Oh, yeah. Let's dive in.
Oh, we want to tell them what it's about?
No, we don't need to tell
Oh,
them. No, I'm just
okay. I'm
joking.
just doing as I'm told, I guess.
Would you look at? For Jesus said it
Hold
like this,
on.
before the sin of lust can enter into your heart, it starts with what you look at. For Jesus said it like this in Matthew chapter 5, verse 28 and 29. He said, but I say to you, whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with this woman in his heart. Many of you have friends where they're like, hey, you can look, just don't touch. Right? You can look, just don't cross that line, but just keep looking. No harm can come to your life if you just look. The more you look at something over and over and over again, you start to desire it. And guess what? Because we look, all of a sudden we start to develop cravings. And we start to crave things and have an appetite for things that God never intended for us to have. And we start to be consumed with all these things. What would happen if I just ate this entire platter right now? First of all, you'd be grossed out. But second of all, I would not feel good, right? I would be sick afterwards. This would make me sick. This is what it's like to indulge in the ways of the world. The devil says, here's your platter. Everything you want, I got it right here. I know that you seem like you're good over there, but don't you want some of this? Indulge in this. Don't stop. Nobody's telling you to stop until you become sick. 1 John chapter 2. Verse 15 and 16 says, do not love this world. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything that we see. Notice the wording here. Everything that we see and pride in our achievements and possessions, these are not from the Father, but this is from the world. This is a demonic spirit of lust that wants to consume you, pervert your mind, overtake your heart, so that you run away from the presence of God and never experience His true favor for your life.
I think that's
Stop it
good.
there.
No, that's a really good and powerful video. And today we're going to talk about lust. We've had a lot of people actually contact us about this and want a podcast episode done on lust
And these are just our thoughts.
and why, why it can really destroy your marriage. And I think he said a lot of good points in there. Obviously, if you're, and I've heard that before too, you can look, but you can't touch, right? And then you're okay, right? But the problem is looking and giving into those desires are going to create more desires and lead to something else and lead to something else. But we'll talk
I
about
think
that a lot.
every human being knows that addiction is real, right?
So,
And it's yeah, it's real.
so can you lust after your wife?
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well,
I hope so.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay, so the definition of lust is intense sexual desire or attraction, often objectifying rather than seeking emotional or spiritual connection. Lust is natural, but can become harmful if directed outside the marriage or expressed unhealthily. Why this matters, lust can create distance, guilt, hurt, or even in committed or mostly in committed relationships. So, as you heard him talk in Matthew, anyone who lusts after a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
yeah.
Obviously, scripture goes both ways. So this is no different for women,
sure.
right? But lust isn't just physical, it can corrupt thoughts, intentions, and the heart.
Well, and I love what he said in there too. Like what you're putting in your mind can cause you to lust, like looking at pictures, watching movies. I know Amy and I've said this before, and I think this has been one of the biggest blessings in our life is we don't watch rated R movies, right? Or movies that are like going to put things in our minds that we don't want to see, right?
Right.
And it's amazing. Like I can honestly say we've been doing this for like 22, 23 years. And I can honestly say it's amazing like how it's blessed my life. Like just I don't have if I'm not watching sex scenes or different things, I'm not thinking about those things, right? It's just what you put in your mind is going to affect you in a negative or positive way. And so for us, like that's been just one thing that's really helped us in our marriage is saying, hey, here's the type of movies we're going to watch or not watch, and just being really careful about what we're looking at and consuming.
So, to add to that, not even like this is not a podcast on pornography. Like this is just lusting in a more of a basic way, really. Like I want to talk more about just what is lust and like more. I don't want to say on a lower scale. I don't really know what word store. It's none of it's good, so I don't want to put on a scale rating. Just lusting can be swiping on the internet. Lusting can be people you see. Like lust comes in lots of different forms. This is not about like full on pornography addiction and stuff, even though we know that that's obviously lust.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That could be scrolling and just looking at pictures of women in general,
Right.
or being out in public, yeah, and just checking people out. You know what I mean?
Well,
and
there's a real problem on just social media nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where when you're saying people have written us and saying, hey, do one on lust, it's coming from not even just like deep stuff, just my husband scrolls on social media and looks at beautiful women all day. And that could really, and it goes both ways. Like this entire podcast is kind of about women are just as guilty as being visual and all that stuff. So let's start with like healthy lust versus unhealthy. Healthy lust is mutual, it's respectful, and focused on your spouse. So, yes, is it okay to lust after your spouse? Absolutely.
Oh, thank goodness.
God gave us that, right? Like for a reason.
I was gonna say if your answer was no, then I'm going to hell. I'm in trouble.
Enhances emotional and physical intimacy. Like we want spouses to lust after their own spouses, right? Aligned with values and your marital promises and commitments. Encourages closeness and connection in all aspects of your relationship. So lusting after your spouse, absolutely beautiful. In a healthy balance, right?
Yeah.
In a normal, yeah.
No, I
don't
think
want to dive into. I'm sure there could be really unhealthy lusting in marriage. We're just talking about like I find my spouse sexually attractive and want to be sexual with them. Like absolutely.
And I think a simple way to put it is, God made us the way He made us, right? He made us to desire looking at our wife. He made us desire to be attractive, or attracted. I guess my point I'm trying to say, and I heard someone say this, is like all these things that we feel are natural, but it all should be with our spouse, right? Like our sexual desires, our visuals, like seeing our spouse naked, like those are all great things, but they should be just eyes for our spouse, right? Absolutely. And all those things are really good. They're godly, they're healthy within your relationship, but we know that Satan wants us to take those things outside the relationship, and that's where things get sinful, is when we take these things that are meant to be powerful and good within a marriage and start focusing outside of the marriage.
Absolutely. So unhealthy lust would be directed outside of the marriage, like you said, looking at or fantasizing about anyone other than your spouse, objectifying others, using pornography, flirting outside the marriage, secrecy, guilt, emotional distance, and drains intimacy and reduces trust, respect, and emotional connection. The last one is just jealousy is going to cause those things, right?
Sure.
And that's where a lot of and I know there's like other places in, like we already mentioned, it's not just like social media or being on your phone, but like now we have these things in our hands, computers with the internet, 24 hours a day, whenever we need them. And it's turning into this big lust trap, right? And so many spouses are writing us and just being like, it so breaks my heart that my spouse is just constantly looking at other people, and we don't know what our spouses are thinking, right? Like maybe sometimes it might be innocent, sometimes it's very not innocent. So,
and what a stupid saying, you can look but you can't touch. No. Like what a stupid saying. I mean, what do you think looking is going to lead to?
Like
it's going to lead to other things. Like if you're looking and thinking, I'm not doing anything wrong because I'm just looking, you're wrong. Like that's not only wrong now, but it's going to lead to other things in the future, whether it's, getting into pornography or having an affair or things like that. That all probably starts with what we're talking about.
Well, and he said it's a trap, right? Like, the devil's wanting to make it a little bit more. It's not like you go eat that whole platter, like you said, all at once. You take in a little bit, you take in a little bit, you take in a little bit. It gets more and more and more. It becomes an addiction.
Well, so here's a great example. I remember talking to a guy, and he was a police officer, and he had to go, like he was telling us stories of like, he has to go into strip clubs and these horrendous places. And I'm like, how do you do that? And I was probably, 21, 22 or 20 in my 20s at the time, so still pretty young. I'm like, we're taught not to look at naked women. How do you do that as a member of the church? And he's like, Nick, it's not about what you see, it's about what you put in your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to notice pretty people all around us, or we're going to notice things like that's just part of life, but it's what you do with your thoughts after that, right? So it's not a sin. Like if someone came out running out naked and you saw them, it's not a sin for you to see them naked, right? It's what you do with your thoughts at that point.
I've never seen anyone come running
No,
out
but
naked.
I'm just saying, like,
Minus you, except
no,
for you.
no, I'm just making a point, like,
It wouldn't be your fault if someone did that. Yeah.
correct. I mean, a great example is I was looking on Google, and I think I've shared this story before. I was looking to do a hike, and I typed in the hike, and a picture of a naked lady came up, and she had taken a picture of herself in this hike, and so it came up on there, and I'm like, what in the world? I'm looking for a hike to do with the Scouts.
Is it a sin that you saw that picture?
No,
No.
but what would have been a sin is if I continued to think or lust or
go back and look at the picture again, and then
correct,
you're like, I like that
exactly.
picture. I'm gonna go look at it again and again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like make anyone feel bad that's struggling with this, because that's not our intention at all. Our intention is to just recognize that the problem, it's not okay, and it's probably damaging your spouse, especially if they don't even know about it. But if they do know that you're looking at stuff or swiping, and like a lot of women will be like, I can see my husband's social media feed and it like breaks my heart, and these are committed, loving wives that are just like feeling that heartbreak, and it goes both ways. But whether your spouse knows or not, it's equally damaging. And if you struggle with that, which most people I think do, like not most people, I don't want to say most people. I think a lot of people, it's normal, right? To feel attractive to other people. It's what you do with it. So people do struggle with this. It's a really hard thing. It's out there. It's everywhere now. It's in front of our faces all the time. And so we have to learn to train our mind. Swipe fast. Don't look. Change your algorithm. Like what you're putting in your mind is going to change your mind. Like,
well, and I think it's just as simple as that. Like what you put in your mind and your thoughts through visual things as well too is going to make you, make you into that person, right? If I'm looking at things that I shouldn't be looking at, it's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to cause some actions as well. There's always like a cause and effect, right? Like you're going to have for every action you do, you're going to have some sort of effect, whether negative or positive or negative, depending on what it is. And if you don't think you are, you really are fooling yourself. So, and like Amy said, we're not on here saying, hey, if this is something you struggle with, you're horrible. We're not saying that at all. No. We're just saying
it's normal.
This is a normal thing. God made us have these desires and these things, these feelings and attractions, but these things should be kept in the marriage with your spouse.
Right. And so a couple of comments I've gotten or messages from women are like, my husband looks at other people when we're on date night. Like I can see him like kind of staring him down, like stuff like that. Those are the kind of messages we get. And it's heartbreaking, because it really comes down to me, it really comes down to respect. Like not just respect for your own mind and your own body, but like for your spouse too. Like you committed to your spouse. So what does that look like to you and to your spouse? Like if it's hurting your spouse, if you're hurting your spouse's heart and you're breaking their heart, and they're like causing some jealousy, or they don't like talk about it. Like if it's hurting your spouse in any way, it needs to be talked about, and it's probably not okay if it's hurting your spouse.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's healthy balances, but
so Amy and I have talked with a lot of people that are addicted to pornography. I mean, with what we do, we know a lot. We've talked to a lot of people that have serious addictions, and we're talking like addictions that have just upended their life, and every day is just survival mode, right? Like it's pure hell.
Yeah.
And these people want to get out of it. They want to heal from it, but it is just pure hell for them every day. And so often when talking to them, it isn't that they just jumped into pornography. They started out with the little things,
Mhm.
right? Thinking, oh, it's not bad if I'm just looking. I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything. And again, we're not talking about necessarily like naked people or pictures or things like that. It all starts out with just the things that seem so innocent and that aren't going to cause any damage, and it gets worse and worse and worse
Mhm.
until you're at a place to where you're just like, what? What have I done? What's going on?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
you just got to be really, really careful
You
about
do
it.
have to be not even just careful. You need to be disciplined, and you need to figure out. I think that's why we have, this internal. Okay, what I'm doing is not right. Oh, I can see that this is going to lead somewhere. If we're honest with ourselves, we know when we're looking at something that's either not appropriate or it is. Like, I just think that we know that, right? I'm going to share some real life examples or messages or quotes that we've gotten just so just to share like where this is coming from. One lady said, "My husband stares down other women when I'm with him. It makes me feel very hurt and very disrespected. I have found myself lusting after beautiful people online, and it makes me feel instantly guilty and distant from my spouse. I catch myself, quote, I catch myself fantasizing about others when we are intimate because I am not attracted to my spouse anymore. Quote, it bothers me when my spouse scrolls social media. Pretty people are on all the pages. I catch my spouse staring at them longer than a few seconds. Quote, I feel like it makes me doubt trust in our marriage. And I don't want to lust after others, but the intimate time in our marriage is rare, and it is hard for me because I crave my wife being intimate with her so much." Like,
We hear that a lot.
we hear that one a lot. I don't want to keep going, but let's just talk about 5 questions that I came up with to bring up lust respectfully. So, is it all right if I read those real quick? Hopefully, if you're dealing with this at any way in your marriage, like social media, even if it's like pornography, just anything, you're feeling like either yourself or your spouse, you just need to fix this in your marriage, or just talk about it. I want to be fully connected. Have you noticed times when either of us struggles with sexual thoughts about someone else? I mean, if you want a really good marriage, you should be able to talk like literally be able to ask your spouse these questions and be able to have a discussion on it. And I think you'll find that these aren't like finger pointing. They're more like, okay, how do you
As a
feel
couple,
about
right?
this? Where are we as a couple, and how do we work through this?
I think that's a great question.
Are there ways might be unintentionally contributing to sexual disconnection between us? Can we talk about boundaries to help protect our marriage from lustful thoughts or actions? Have you ever felt tempted to look outside our marriage for sexual excitement, and how can we address that together? What can we do to make sure that our sexual desires stay focused on each other and strengthens our intimacy? Yeah, I mean, there's like tons more questions, but I think those are really important to be able to have those kind of conversations. Like, if you're feeling like this is affecting negatively your marriage at all, which we hear from a lot of people that it is, you should be able to sit down and look at each other and be like, hey, let's just have this discussion on lust. Like, what do you think it is in marriage? And then I wanted to just share like setting boundaries to help you not be dealing with this in your marriage, right? Like, you heard some of those comments, they're like, that's heartbreaking. So how do we like keep that from happening? Media limits, avoid pornography, explicit content, suggestive social media accounts. Like, we have more power than we think what we're putting in front of our face.
So, and I think even I think that's important, no question. But even more than that is probably like movies, right? Like how many people like go watch movies that they probably shouldn't be watching.
If you've noticed how
and then
bad they all like all the ratings nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You can't find decent movies anymore.
No, you can't. I mean, Amy and I have something called VidAngel where you can go in and
This is not a plug. They offered to pay us,
yeah.
and we turned them down. This is not a plug.
But you can read the filters and see how many like sex scenes are in the movie, and we're like, how do you have 15 sex scenes in a movie? Like, that's insane.
That's insane.
Obviously, you can filter everything out, and
even just one.
Yeah. But it's crazy. Like, they are intentionally putting these in movies, and you can't go watch a movie and like that and then not have thoughts or not have
or think about it again, or be like, I
absolutely.
moved that part last night. Dang, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, what we put in our mind, like, just we can't get it out of our mind. So addiction, mental pornography addiction is so so hard to get
Yeah, so
out
I
of.
would say movies is number one. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway.
I don't, yeah, maybe we need to take a poll on that, but I mean, social media is pretty bad too. But I think that if we can keep ourselves strong and be like, I don't want to negatively affect my marriage, my spouse, my life. It's not good for me too. Like, I need to put up, some boundaries for myself too.
Well, I think too, like it is amazing how unbelievably strong our brains are, right? Like there's certain things like whether it's stress or thinking about things like that
Hmm.
you literally can't get out of your mind. Like you're like, stop thinking about this, right?
Right.
Like it could be even a stressful situation that you're going through, like in your mind
Right.
just takes control and cannot stop thinking about it. And that's there's no difference with the
Hmm.
things that you're putting in your mind like images or things that you
Hmm.
watch, like no matter how bad you want to get those out of your mind is so powerful and strong. So why even put those in your mind in the first place? Why even have that battle and have that fight?
Hmm.
Just eliminate those things and don't even put those things in your mind.
Which is hard if they're already in your mind, but you can stop. You can stop. Um, a couple other things were accountability with technology, avoiding tempting situations, transparency with just everything. I think honesty and transparency is like key. More time together. If you have a great marriage, you are going to be less tempted. I have to say that. Like, I think the more you work on your marriage and on yourself and you come closer to God, like these temptations are going to go away. And I think that's important to talk about, like, because you're turning to other things and you will not want to see. That's crap.
And I
When
and
you're
I
madly in love with your spouse, you're not gonna want to hurt them.
And I think part of that, though, is maintaining a good sexual balance as a couple, too. Like, we have so many men that message us, and again, this is no excuse, but they're like, my wife never wants to be intimate. Well, again, I'm not making excuses, but it's important. You can't completely shut off something in your marriage and then expect your spouse not to have those desires going somewhere else. And again, I'm not justifying or saying right, but I think it's important, like just for couples, like you said, to sit down and talk about things and have these discussions and what can we do better and how can I do better or how can, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Well, just to clarify, if she's cut off intimate time, there's a deeper reason for that, and that
I
takes two
understand
people.
that.
That
Yeah,
takes two people.
I understand that. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You sit down
I
and
don't want
understand
the blame goes on both sides. Like women usually don't cut it off unless something is
100%.
deeper, right? So we're not going to
100%.
get into that,
What
but
we're
yeah,
saying is make sure that
right.
you're having a good relationship emotionally and intimately
Hmm.
and get that figured out because that really can have a big impact. That's all I'm
Right,
saying.
right. No, I agree with that. Um, yeah, we're gonna kind of wrap this one up. I know it was a shorter, there's a lot to talk about on this subject. What I want to do is have anyone that's like, okay, this is my situation. You didn't cover this. We're not therapists. We never claim to be. Write us an email or message us online and say, this is what I'm dealing with. Because we're gonna have a therapist on really soon, and I'd love to do like a part two with
Yeah,
him
I agree.
of like how to deep dive, like if you're really struggling with, or if this is like a really big problem and you're like stuck in some way, like any questions that you have that you want us to ask our professional that we're going to have on this topic, I would love for you to email us because yeah, we didn't cover a whole lot. But it's a really big problem. It's causing deeper problems and bigger problems in marriage. And we just want to like combat it like right now, right? Like as fast as you can and keep your marriage strong so it doesn't even have to
Well,
happen.
and again, just I want to say again, if you're struggling with this, don't beat yourself up, right? Like but we are
But you
talking
can turn
about
it around, right?
you can turn it around, right?
Right.
Like we're not here
We're
saying
all human.
we're talking about these things because they impact all of us, right?
Right.
I mean, the things that we talk about in the podcast, just there's so many things that impact us,
Right. Right.
and we
Right.
want to cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us an email, send us an email. We would love to have a part two on lust. So yeah.
Sounds good. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up, and until next time, we hope you enjoyed the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast.